Hi, this is János, and I'm checking if it's recording because I just recorded about an hour-long video, and then I realized in the end it wasn't recording anything. So you can never be cautious enough. So today I'm looking at a very... Actually, in the previous video I answered all of the comments in that video, but now I'm just going to look at one. So this was the last comment where I finished Titov's comment, and he suggested that when we are designing a cabinet, we could really map out all the cabinet, the whole surface of it, where are the excessive resonances, so which are the parts where we have standing waves inside the cabinet and they are making a spot there resonate too much, and then we can take care of those resonances. So if we map out the whole surface, we know where are the more resonances. So if you are in that school that you want to brace out the parts where you have more resonances, you could put more braces on the inside, etc., or do work with it however you see it work best for your way of building cabinets, like put dampening material or bracing or something there. And yeah, as Titov shared, this is a lot of work, like to have like accelerometers everywhere, and actually you would need to do it with actual single accelerometer and just moving one, measuring it, and then placing it again, next spot, next spot, next spot. Because if we put accelerometers everywhere, we are going that even a single accelerometer on the panel changes the behavior of the panel, so it's going to skew the results, and that's why you can only use one accelerometer and just move it. And sadly you will have to do it more tightly than 5 centimeters, because the resonant areas can be even smaller than 5 centimeters, and so it's even more work, exponentially more work to do it like that. However, my mentors told me a method to get this done, which would take like these measurements to do like probably like maybe like a day's worth of work, just measuring for a whole cabinet. You can do it in 5 minutes for a whole loudspeaker cabinet. And the way to do that is get a stethoscope and just crank up the speaker, put music on and play it pretty loud, and just get your stethoscope, and let's imagine this is our loudspeaker. There's the driver, there's our mouth of let's say it's a void pipe, and you just get the stethoscope and you move and you scan across the whole surface listening with it. And what you will notice is that when you put the stethoscope on the surface, you will also hear the music. As the wood is, the surface is resonating with the music. Of course, if you build that void pipe that got that million hit views, like the world's second best speaker, he put in like a lot of dampening on the inside. He put in like a second layer to make an inert cabinet. There you will hear much less output, but you will still hear some spots of being louder than others, and that's your job. That's what we want to do with the stethoscope, to find those spots where we have louder output than from the spots, the areas next to that spot. So when you have identified the spot, and it will be really tight, if you move it like an inch, like 2 centimeters away, then it won't be as loud anymore, and it can change like that drastically. So like within just a few centimeters, and that's why you have to scan the entire surface, because if you jump by 5 centimeters, you can miss those spots. Kintaro, The cats are playing. Kintaro, play nicely. Come on. Come on. Now he stopped. So when you find a spot, then take sticky tape and just take like this tiny piece. Just roll out like a centimeter's worth, like a half-inch worth of your sticky tape, and just stick it on the spot that was resonating louder. And that's all the dampening that you need to add to a live cabinet. So those cabinets that I build, that when you have just real wood that you use to make the cabinets, often real wood doesn't have uniform density inside the material, because trees have limbs, and where a limb grows out of the tree, there you have a knot in the wood. And where you have a knot, that has a different resonance pattern. The resonance is transferred differently in that area compared to the non-knotty areas. And you will find when you go with the stethoscopes that when you have knots, there you will have these spots which resonate differently from the rest of the surface, and there you just stick that tiny piece of sticky tape, just like a centimeter's worth, and that will already cut down the extra resonance and bring it down to the level that's the same as the adjacent surfaces resonances. So that's what you want to do, to just remove with the sticky tape as much of that extra energy that those specific hot spots put out. So basically with the stethoscope we are mapping out the hot spots and taking care of them with sticky tape. Cheapest trick, audio trick and tweak ever, and the bestest ever. So this is with my void pipe that's up in the cat's room. This has been the biggest trick to improve 3D imaging of the speakers. It's truly phenomenal, and it's unbelievable. Like, it almost costs nothing. The sticky tape, come on. And you don't need to put in like bracing, you don't need to add like No1. You don't have to put in more stuffing or just, I don't know, build it from concrete or whatnot. All you need to do is just put sticky tape to those hotspots. I had like 2 or 3 hotspots in the upper area, like above the driver level to the top. So when you have a void pipe, this area above the driver on the front panel, that's the most sensitive for 3D imaging. And that's because this is the narrower part of the pipe, the top, and the bottom is the fatter part. So in the fatter part, there's less pressure, less air pressure there, because there's more room. There's much less air pressure affecting that area. So it's not, any hotspots there won't be excited as much as the hotspots above here. And that's why this is the most critical. So essentially you can also find the hotspots there, but here it will be much harder to spot them, because the width of the pipe in the bottom is just too big to elicit resonances in the mid-range and high frequencies for any of these spots here. The pipe is narrow enough only on the top section that it will elicit resonances in the high frequencies which affect your imaging performance. And when you go to the back side of the panel, the back side radiates towards the back, which will get reflected from the wall. So you are, it is almost inaudible if you match a if you find a hotspot in the back and you take care of it with sticky tape. You have to be a golden ear to hear it. And yes, you can hear, if you are a golden ear, tiny bit, but it's just so minute that I just don't do it. It's just not worth the hassle. It's a good experience to try it out for yourself and see what you learned from that experiment. But the most important bit is just the top section, and you don't have to be a golden ear. Anyone can hear the difference between the imaging. It's like upgrading to a way better driver than what you have now. That's how you will hear it. It will be just absolutely stunning and shocking. So I think sticky tape, that's the best audio advice ever. And even for improving imaging of a cabinet, and even if you don't have a void pipe, let's say you have a bass reflex cabinet, you can do the same thing. Just go on with a stethoscope and find the resonating hotspots and put a piece of sticky tape there. And even better, if you are a musician, you have an instrument, let's say a piano or a guitar, you can do the same thing with your piano body or guitar body. Especially piano is just really too big for that, but not that practical advice. But with a guitar, you can also like map your guitar with your stethoscope, and if you find spots that just stand out from the rest of the guitar's body's surface, just put a piece of sticky tape there. Of course, it will look like a joke, but you can elevate your cheap guitar performance to sound as if it was a lot more expensive guitar. And it's not about the price, it's about the sound of the guitar. You can improve your guitar or violin tremendously just by applying these sticky tapes. And this method also works for flutes. And there what Stu experimented with was the application of Teflon tape. Just Teflon tape around the flute, but that's time for another video. And I think I mentioned it a couple of years ago, the experiment that we did with the flute. So I think that's it for now, the advice on the sticky tape, and I stop recording just to make sure that it records and I can get this video out to you. Thank you for tuning in, and just one more advice. So when you listen with your stethoscope, do not press the probe hard on the surface, because then you will deaden the surface. And actually just experiment with it, like how hard you press it onto the surface. The more you press, the quieter it gets. So put it on that is just barely touching the surface. That's when you can find these spots very easily, very keenly. And then, because as if you push it on strong, then you are already applying enough pressure to remove the hot spot. Because just be reminded, all it takes is just the weight of a sticky tape to prevent those hot spots from forming to an excessive level that's audible. So that's why when you are probing with your stethoscope, just do a very gentle, very light probing. And I think you will be just phenomenally surprised, because, for example, when I probe my voice of Lancelot with the stethoscope, you can hear, like when there's like dialogue, you can hear the people like crystal clear, and everything that's in the music through the front baffle, and it's just amazing. And of course you cannot hear the higher frequencies because the driver that's cut off really low, so it's kind of just hearing the chestiness, but it's super, it's so clear and so clean, you would be just amazed. And I think it's a great idea for everyone just to experience it for yourself. That and for me, that just going with the stethoscope and listening to it removed any residual fear about having any kind of reservations about your cabinet being part of reproducing some of the music, of transmitting energy to the air, because it's not something mushy, it's not something that's going to create problems with the sound. It's super clean. It's just like clear water, like drinking from the fountain, that kind of experience. And you just have to experience it for yourself. And then, of course, you can experience the other thing. Maybe you will experience that it's mushy and muddy. And if it's like that, then it's an indication that you should change your cabinet. Your cabinet doesn't work as a live cabinet. When it works as a live cabinet, then when you are probing with a stethoscope, it should give you crystal clear sound, and that's the feedback that you have chosen good enough quality wood, you have mounted it properly, and it's working properly as a live cabinet. So this video is really two tricks or two tips in one video. Number one, sticky tape for your void pipes, and not just void pipes, bass reflex cabinet, any kind of cabinet, especially ones which have like lighter cabinets, like Harbeth cabinets. It would work excellent on that one as well. And those ones for improving imaging, plus use a stethoscope and learn more about your designs. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.